The cold, silent void of space stretched endlessly in every direction, speckled with distant stars and drifting asteroids. Captain Elena Rio stood on the bridge of the starship Horizon's Edge, her eyes scanning the flickering monitors. She had spent years patrolling the edges of human-controlled space, but nothing could prepare her for the strange signals she had just received. "Captain," Lieutenant Moreno said, his voice tight with urgency, "we're picking up a distress signal. It's weak, but it's repeating. Coordinates place it just outside the Helios cluster." Elena leaned forward, resting her hands on the console. "Show me." The screen lit up, revealing a small, battered alien vessel drifting aimlessly, its hull scarred and smoke leaking from multiple points. "What species?" she asked, her brow furrowed. Moreno shook his head. "Unknown. This ship isn't registered with the Galactic Council. Whoever they are, they've been traveling for a long time. Life support readings are minimal." Elena's jaw tightened. The Galactic Council had strict rules about sheltering refugees from distant conflicts. Most species had tried to enforce those rules. Denied help, denied refuge, denied safety, but humanity had always been different. "Prepare an interception," she ordered. "I don't care what the Council says. If someone's out there in danger, we help them." Minutes later, the Horizon's Edge closed the distance. The alien ship was small, triangular, and battered, moving slowly as if barely holding itself together. Elena watched it carefully, noting the delicate movements of the craft's hull as it twisted under the strain of space debris collisions. A transmission window opened. On the screen appeared figures unlike anything she had ever seen. They had slender, elongated bodies, smooth violet skin, and large, expressive eyes that glowed faintly in the darkness. The alien language was melodic but unintelligible. Beneath it, however, the ship projected gestures, bows, hands pressed to chests, and small, almost childlike motions of greeting. Elena felt a pang of something deep inside her. These beings were not warriors, not conquerors. They were pleading, showing trust in a species they had never met before. "Open a channel," she said softly. A voice in broken galactic common came through, trembling but clear. "Please, help. We have nowhere to go. Others denied us. They will kill. If we return." Elena's heart clenched. She had heard similar stories before. Species displaced, hunted across galaxies, rejected by every major power. But here, humanity had a choice. Here, humanity could make a difference. "Bring them aboard," she commanded. "We will not turn anyone away. Not here, not on my watch." The crew of the Horizon's Edge worked quickly. Docking clamps locked onto the alien ship, and Elena watched as human engineers carefully connected life support and medical systems. The aliens moved slowly, uncertain of the strange humans surrounding them, but they did not resist. Their trust was fragile, but it existed. Once inside, Elena stepped forward to meet them. One of the smaller aliens approached, tilting its head curiously. Elena knelt slightly, lowering herself to its level. "It's okay," she said gently. "You're safe now." The alien hesitated, then extended a delicate hand. Elena took it carefully. Its skin was soft and almost warm, and for a moment she saw the fear and exhaustion etched into the alien's features. "Where are you from?" she asked. The alien spoke in broken common again. "Kalari. Home destroyed. Warlord takes all. Council say." No, Elena's stomach tightened. She had heard stories of the Kalari before. They were a gentle, intelligent species, known for their empathy and creativity. Yet their homeworld had been overrun by a ruthless warlord who conquered systems without mercy. Every council had denied them refuge out of fear or politics. But here they were, survivors floating in the void, hoping humanity would care. "You're not alone anymore," Elena promised. "We'll get you somewhere safe. You can rebuild. You will have a home here." The alien tilted its head, glowing eyes wide. It spoke again, simpler this time. "Home. Safe. Humans?" "Yes," Elena said, smiling. "Humans." As the crew worked to stabilize the alien ship's life support, Elena moved to the communication console. "I'm sending a message to Earth and our orbital colonies," she said. "They need to know the Kalari are coming. Prepare reception protocols." Lieutenant Moreno frowned. "Captain, the Council won't be happy. They warned us not to interfere with refugees outside our jurisdiction." Elena shook her head firmly. "Moreno, this isn't about politics. This is about doing what's right. If we don't act, they die. We can't be like the rest of the galaxy, turning away anyone in need. Humanity isn't about fear. We survive by caring, by helping, by being brave when it matters. Moreno nodded slowly. He understood. Humanity had always been different in the galaxy. They were unpredictable, bold, and often underestimated, but they also had a capacity for compassion that no other species seemed to match. The Kailari ship shuddered, and alarms rang out. Elena's team rushed to stabilize it, working alongside the aliens as best they could. Through broken gestures and shared effort, humans and Kailari began to communicate. Tools were handed, repairs suggested, and slowly the ship began to respond. Hours passed, and Elena finally allowed herself a moment of rest. She watched the Kailari, some sitting quietly, others attempting to mimic human movements, laughing softly at their own mistakes. Despite everything, there was hope. Even in the darkness of space, life endured. That night in her quarters, Elena reflected on the day's events. She had always believed that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology, or their weapons, or even their colonies spread across stars. It was their spirit, the ability to choose empathy over fear, courage over safety, and morality over convenience. Somewhere across the galaxy, the councils had closed their doors to the Kailari. Humanity had opened theirs, and in doing so, they had begun a story that would ripple across the stars. When Elena returned to the bridge the next morning, she found the Kailari child she had first met sitting quietly at the console, watching the stars. She knelt beside it again. "You see all this?" she asked, gesturing to the vastness of space. "This is your new beginning. Humanity will keep you safe. And maybe, together, we'll show the galaxy what courage and kindness really look like." The child tilted its head and extended a small hand again. Elena took it. And in that simple gesture, trust was built. And a new chapter began, not just for the Kailari, but for humanity itself. As the horizon's edge carried the refugees toward Earth, alarms began to flash on the navigation panel. Elena frowned. A faint signal was approaching fast, dark shapes cutting through the stars like knives. "Looks like the universe isn't finished testing us yet," she muttered, a determined glint in her eye. "But that's fine. Humanity doesn't back down." The horizon's edge moved steadily through human space, carrying the Kailari refugees toward Earth. Inside the ship, the mood was a mixture of relief, curiosity, and quiet nervousness. The Kailari had never traveled so far, and humans had never hosted an entire alien population before. Captain Elena Rios walked through the ship's main corridor, observing the Kailari as they adjusted to human technology. Some of them had begun exploring their new environment, moving cautiously past the glowing consoles and unfamiliar panels. Others remained near the medical unit, still weak from their long journey through the void. Lieutenant Moreno joined her. "Captain, the Kailari are curious, but they're also anxious. Some crew members are worried about cultural clashes. It's new for everyone." Elena nodded. "Of course it is. But that's exactly why we're doing this. If we only act when it's easy, then we're no different from the rest of the galaxy. Humanity isn't just strong, we're adaptable. We learn, we teach, and we build connections. That's how we survive." In the medical bay, Dr. Lena Cross worked with Kailari physiology specialists. The Kailari were taller and slimmer than humans, with delicate limbs and skin that shimmered faintly under the ship's lights. Their bodies healed quickly, but their biology was fragile. Cross marveled at their unique circulatory system, which glowed faintly under certain wavelengths of light. "Fascinating," she said softly to herself. "They're more than just intelligent, they're resilient in ways we've never seen." One of the Kailari, a young adult named Ilian, approached her carefully. His glowing eyes reflected curiosity rather than fear. Cross smiled and extended a hand. Ilian touched it lightly, mimicking her gesture. "Your species is kind," he said in broken common. "We feared humans. Like others." Cross shook her head. "We're not like others. Humanity doesn't turn away those in need. You'll see that. This is your home now, at least for a while." Meanwhile, the horizon's edge approached Earth's orbit, where orbital colonies and spaceports were ready to receive the refugees. Humans had prepared housing units designed to accommodate alien physiology. The Kailari were amazed at the technology, especially the environmental controls that allowed their unique atmospheric needs to be met. When the ship docked, Elena led the Kailari onto Earth itself for the first time. Their eyes widened at the sight of green forests, sprawling cities, and the sun reflecting off the oceans. For many of them, It was the first planet they had seen that wasn't scarred by war. A young Kalari child, no older than 8, ran ahead, laughing at the sensation of gravity stronger than their homeworld. Elena crouched to let the child approach her. "Welcome to Earth," she said softly. The Kalari were assigned mentors, humans who would help them learn language, customs, and technology. It was not an easy transition. Humans spoke quickly, their gestures were strange, and Earth's crowded cities were overwhelming. But the Kalari were intelligent and eager. They learned fast. In classrooms adapted for both species, humans taught Kalari mathematics, history, and basic survival skills. Kalari, in return, shared knowledge of advanced energy systems and unique propulsion technology. Teachers marveled at the collaboration. Ideas that would have taken decades to develop on Earth alone were being solved in weeks through shared knowledge. At one project lab, human and Kalari students worked together on a device that could convert solar radiation into usable energy more efficiently than current human technology. Sparks flew, literally, when a Kalari student adjusted the circuits with precision only their delicate fingers could manage. A human student cheered. "That's amazing. You've made something better than our best prototype." Ilian smiled faintly, bowing in Kalari tradition. "Together, better humans, clever and like us." Even in daily life, small acts of cooperation flourished. Kalari children learned to play Earth games, and human children learned to mimic Kalari dances and songs. Shared laughter created bonds that words alone could not. However, integration was not without tension. Some humans worried about the risk of hosting refugees, questioning whether the Kalari might pose hidden threats. Rumors began circulating in certain media channels. A few Kalari, misunderstanding human caution, felt unwelcome. Elena addressed the concerns publicly. Standing before a holographic broadcast, she spoke with calm authority. "The Kalari are our guests, and they have every right to live safely among us. We do not turn away those who need help. Humanity has always been strongest when we act with empathy and courage, not fear. Our doors are open because we are human. That is our strength." Her words echoed across the colonies, calming some fears and inspiring others. People began volunteering to help Kalari families adjust, offering guidance, housing, and friendship. Humanity's reputation as a species willing to do what was right, even when inconvenient, grew quietly but steadily. On a quiet evening, Elena walked through one of the new colonies, observing human and Kalari families settling in together. Lights glimmered in the small homes, laughter floated through the air, and the hum of advanced energy systems provided warmth and comfort. Ilian approached her again, this time accompanied by a group of Kalari adolescents. They had begun building a small energy device on their own, using human tools and Kalari design principles. It was crude, but it worked, generating a small but steady power flow. "We make better together," Ilian said proudly. Elena smiled. "Yes, that's what humanity does. We take challenges, we work together, and we create solutions. And when we care, we make everyone stronger." Later in the evening, the Kalari gathered around a holographic map, sharing stories of their homeworld and the cultures they had left behind. Humans joined, listening carefully, fascinated by the history and wisdom of a species that had survived so much. Children exchanged games, songs, and drawings, blending traditions in ways that were unique and beautiful. Dr. Cross observed from the edge, quietly jotting notes. "This is more than survival," she murmured. "This is growth, adaptation, and learning. Humanity isn't just helping them survive, they're helping them thrive. And in doing so, they are teaching themselves as well." But even in these moments of hope, a shadow lingered. Somewhere in the galaxy, the warlord who had destroyed the Kalari homeworld was aware of their sanctuary. That knowledge was a ticking clock, a reminder that safety was temporary, and the galaxy was still a dangerous place. Elena knew this, but she did not let fear guide her actions. "We will face whatever comes," she told her team. "We are humans. We survive by helping, by learning, by standing together. And we will not abandon the Kalari, not now, not ever." In the days that followed, the Kalari began to thrive. Children laughed in playgrounds designed for their unique physiology. Adults found work in technology labs, communication centers, and environmental projects. Humans marveled at their resilience and ingenuity. The integration was not perfect. Misunderstandings occurred. Mistakes were made. But every challenge was met with patience, creativity, and cooperation. Humanity's willingness to adapt and learn from the Kalari, rather than imposing strict rules, strengthened bonds and deepened mutual respect. One evening, as the sun set over Earth's oceans, Elena stood on a balcony overlooking a bustling colony. Kalari children played alongside human children, their laughter mixing in the warm evening air. Adults discussed energy projects, urban planning, and ways to protect the planet, all while sharing stories from their vastly different worlds. Elena allowed herself a small smile. This was why humanity mattered, not because of power or technology, but because of choice. Humanity had chosen compassion. Humanity had chosen cooperation. Humanity had chosen courage. And that choice was changing the galaxy, one life at a time. In the quiet of the evening, Ilian approached her again. He held a small device, a simple energy converter they had built that day. For humans, he said, his glowing eyes bright with pride. Elena took it gently.
Thank you, she said.
But this isn't just for us. It's for all of us, together, and in that moment, standing between stars and Earth, between old fears and new hope, humanity proved its greatest strength, the ability to see others not as threats, but as allies. Even as the galaxy waited beyond the stars, unknown and dangerous, humanity and the Kalari had begun to build a future together, a future of trust, learning, and unity. The quiet of space is deceptive. Stars shine calmly, planets rotate in their orbits, and comets streak silently past. But in the darkness beyond Earth, a storm was gathering. Captain Elena Rio stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, staring at the screen. Red alerts flashed. Sensors had picked up multiple ships entering human-controlled space at incredible speed. They were large, sleek, and armed with weapons designed to devastate entire colonies. "Captain," Lieutenant Moreno said, his voice tight with tension. "These ships, they match the descriptions of the warlord's fleet." "He's found the Kalari." Elena's jaw tightened. "How fast can we get the Kalari to safety?" "We're already at maximum speed," Moreno replied. "If they intend to attack, it'll be soon." Elena took a deep breath. The warlord had hunted the Kalari across systems, leaving destruction in his wake. Now for the first time he had come to human space. But humanity did not back down in fear. "Prepare defensive measures," Elena ordered. "Alert Earth's orbital defense stations. And get the Kalari ready. We may need to evacuate them, but we won't surrender without a fight." The Kalari colony was bustling with life when alarms blared. Children stopped playing, adults froze mid-task, and a hum of confusion filled the air. Elena's voice came over the speakers. "Attention all Kalari residents. Threat detected, stay calm. Follow human crew instructions immediately." Ilian gathered a group of children. "Stay with humans," he instructed, his glowing eyes reflecting worry. The children nodded, sensing the seriousness in his tone. Humans and Kalari worked side by side, preparing defenses and evacuation procedures. Barricades rose around the colony. Energy shields hummed to life, and transport vehicles were loaded with families. Every action was precise, coordinated, and deliberate. Dr. Lena Cross moved among the Kalari, offering reassurance. "We'll protect you," she said. "Trust us. You are not alone." The alien adults nodded. In their eyes, a flicker of hope remained. Hope that humans were more than words. That they could defend what was right. Out in space, the warlord's fleet approached quickly, cutting through the stars like a dark storm. Elena stood firm on the bridge. "They may be stronger," she said to Moreno, "but we're smarter. Humans survive not because we are invincible, but because we think, adapt, and fight together." The first shots rang out. Energy beams lanced through space, striking shields and ricocheting harmlessly off the colony's outer defenses. The warlord underestimated humanity's unpredictability. While larger fleets relied on sheer power, humans used strategy, improvisation, and creativity. Elena gave the orders. "Deploy the drones. Activate decoy satellites. Use the asteroid field to our advantage. We will not fight them on their terms. We will fight on ours." The horizon's edge moved like a dancer among the asteroids. Drones created false energy signatures, confusing enemy targeting systems. Human pilots executed maneuvers no one expected, weaving through the enemy fleet and striking vulnerable points with precision. One Kalari scientist, Rylus, observed from the bridge. "Humans, unpredictable, effective." His voice was soft, awe in every word. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had survived countless challenges, not because of brute strength but because of their ability to adapt. The warlords' fleet was powerful, but they were rigid, relying on fear and force. That rigidity would be their weakness. Suddenly, alarms blared. One of the Kalari transport ships had been hit. Panic flared. Humans and Kalari rushed to assist. "Get them out," Elena shouted. "Divert shields. We can save them." Lieutenant Moreno piloted the Horizon's Edge directly into the path of the attacking ship, creating a shielded barrier. The impact tore through the ship, but the crew used the debris to form a makeshift energy trap, catching several enemy vessels in a feedback loop that disabled their systems temporarily. Kalari engineers quickly adapted human technology, modifying energy beams to stabilize the damaged transports. Together, they pulled the Kalari to safety, showing that collaboration could overcome even the deadliest threats. Amid the chaos, Elena spotted a young Kalari child trapped in the damaged transport. Without hesitation, she ordered a rescue team. They maneuvered through smoke and sparks, reaching the child just as a secondary blast threatened to engulf the ship. Elena personally lifted the child, shielding them as they moved to safety. The child looked up at her, eyes wide. "Safe humans," they whispered. Elena nodded. "Always." The battle raged for hours. Human ingenuity proved superior in ways the warlord had not anticipated. Energy traps, rapid redeployments, and unconventional tactics forced his fleet into disarray. The Kalari, inspired by human courage, joined the defense, guiding ships, repairing systems, and even creating improvised weapons. Ilian piloted a small Kalari vessel alongside human fighters. "We fight together," he shouted through the comms. His words carried hope and determination, echoing the bond between the two species. The warlord, frustrated by repeated failures, unleashed his flagship, a massive dreadnought bristling with energy weapons. Elena knew a direct confrontation could be deadly. "Moreno, take the fleet around the asteroid field. We'll lure the flagship in and trap it using combined energy signatures. Kalari, focus on feedback amplification. We can disable it." The plan was risky. If it failed, the Kalari would be lost and human forces would suffer severe losses. But humans did not falter in the face of risk. Their courage thrived on challenge. As the flagship entered the trap, drones and modified energy beams created a net of pulsing light. The warlord's weapons misfired, striking his own ships, and one by one the fleet fell into disarray. The flagship struggled, but the combined human-Kalari effort was relentless. Elena's team worked in perfect coordination, anticipating movements, adjusting shields, and striking weak points. Finally, with a surge of energy, the flagship was immobilized, forced to retreat. Silence followed. The stars were calm once again, but the tension remained. The warlord's fleet had been driven back, but the threat was far from over. Humanity had proven that courage, creativity, and collaboration could match brute force, but vigilance was still required. Elena walked through the Kalari colony, checking on everyone. Children hugged humans who had saved them, and adults expressed gratitude that went beyond words. The Kalari had witnessed firsthand the humanity they had only heard of in stories, a species willing to fight, to protect, and to inspire hope. Ilian approached her again. "Humans, brave, we trust you. We learn from you," Elena smiled, "and we learn from you. Together we are stronger. That's what makes humanity human." Dr. Cross added quietly, "They will never forget this, nor will the galaxy." Humans showed not just strength but heart, and that changes everything. As night fell on Earth, Elena stood on a balcony overlooking the colony. Lights shimmered like stars on the ground, Kalari and human families celebrating survival and resilience. Despite the danger looming beyond human space, hope burned brightly. Somewhere the warlord planned his next move, certain that he could conquer any opponent. But humanity had something he did not understand: unpredictability, courage, and the moral choice to defend those in need. Elena clenched her fists, determination burning. "We will not let fear rule us. We protect what is right. Humanity doesn't wait for permission. We act, we fight, and we survive. Not because we are strongest, but because we are human." The Kalari had been denied by the galaxy at every turn. Every council, every fleet, every world had turned them away. But humanity had taken them in, and now the bond between the two species had been forged in fire, danger, and courage. The stars beyond Earth whispered of challenges yet to come. But one truth remained clear. Together, humans and Kailari were unstoppable, and the galaxy had never faced anything like humanity. The distant planet of Novara glimmered in the morning light, a place untouched by war and full of potential. Its skies were painted in shades of orange and purple, and its forests stretched endlessly, promising new beginnings. Humanity and the Kailari had chosen this world to build a joint colony, a place where trust, knowledge, and hope could grow together. Captain Elena Rios stood on a high ridge overlooking the colony. She could see the human and Kailari structures blending seamlessly. Humans built with steel and glass, Kailari with flowing organic designs that reflected their natural aesthetic. Together, the city looked alive, like it had grown rather than been constructed. Lieutenant Moreno approached, a tablet in hand. "Captain, colony operations are running smoothly. Humans and Kailari are working side by side. Energy grids are stable, and the children's school is fully functional. Everyone seems happy," Elena nodded. "Good, but happiness doesn't mean safety. The warlord is still out there, and he won't wait long before he comes for the Kailari again. We need defenses ready, and we need everyone prepared, human and Kailari alike." Inside the colony, Kailari engineers and human scientists gathered in a large lab. They worked together on energy shields, propulsion systems, and advanced communication networks. The Kailari shared their knowledge of quantum energy manipulation, while humans contributed tactical strategies and adaptive engineering. Ilian, now a young adult in Kailari years, demonstrated a device that amplified energy fields. "We combine human tactics with Kailari technology. Stronger." His words were precise, reflecting months of learning. Dr. Lena Cross observed proudly, "This is the best of both species. Not one or the other, but together. Humanity doesn't just adapt, they improve through collaboration." Elsewhere, human and Kailari soldiers trained together. Humans taught the Kailari about human weaponry and defensive formations, while Kailari taught humans how to manipulate energy fields in ways previously unimaginable. Coordination drills turned into a dance of strategy, precision, and trust. Captain Elena watched the training from a command balcony. Her heart swelled with pride. The Kailari had endured so much, yet here they were, not only surviving but thriving. And humanity had given them a chance to do more than survive. They had given them hope. Days passed and the colony flourished. Markets opened, schools thrived, and cultural exchanges became daily life. Kailari art adorned human walls, while humans taught the Kailari music and literature. Children of both species played together, learning each other's languages, dances, and games. One evening, Ilian approached Elena again, this time with a small group of Kailari adults. "Captain Elena," he began, "we have an idea. Warlord will come again. We must unite to protect our home together." Elena studied him carefully. "I agree, but we'll need to combine forces in ways that the warlord can't predict. He thinks in fear and force. We think in creativity and courage. That is our advantage." They gathered a council of human and Kailari leaders to plan the final defense. Maps of the colony, surrounding forests, and nearby mountain ranges were spread across a holographic table. "We can't match him in firepower," Elena said, "but we can use our terrain, energy amplification, and unpredictability. Humans and Kailari will fight together. We will defend not just the colony, but the principle that no one can take what we protect lightly." Rylus, the Kailari engineer, added, "We can manipulate energy fields around mountains, create traps, guide enemies into zones. We fight smart, not just strong." Elena nodded. "Exactly. Our strength lies in choice, intelligence, and unity, and we will make every choice count." Weeks of preparation passed quickly. Humans and Kailari worked tirelessly, strengthening the colony and preparing defenses. Families were moved to secure shelters, children trained in survival drills, and scouts monitored space and nearby systems for enemy movement. At night, the colony sparkled under two moons. Humans and Kailari walked together, sharing stories and laughter. Despite the looming threat, hope and trust grew stronger with every passing day. One night, Elena stood on a balcony with Ilian. "Do you feel ready?" she asked. Ilian's glowing eyes reflected the moon's. "We stronger. Together, humans taught us courage, creativity. We fight not alone." Elena smiled. "That's what makes us human. And that's what will save us. Finally, the day arrived. Scouts reported the warlord's fleet approaching, dark ships cutting across Novara's skies like knives. Elena's heart did not falter. She had faith in her people, humans and Kalari alike. They were prepared, united, and ready. The battle began in the skies above the colony. Energy beams clashed, shields flared, and strategic maneuvers lit up the heavens. The warlord expected chaos, but he found coordination, precision, and creativity instead. Humans piloted starships through narrow mountain passes, using the terrain to dodge fire and launch counterattacks. Kalari manipulated energy fields to create illusions, decoys, and traps. Together, they formed a defense no single species could have created alone. Ilian led a squad of Kalari pilots alongside human fighters. "We fight together," he shouted, guiding ships through a coordinated strike. Enemy vessels faltered against the combined tactics. On the ground, human and Kalari defense teams activated energy barriers, forcing the warlord's troops into zones prepared for ambush. The strategy was precise, calculated, and devastatingly effective. Dr. Cross monitored communications. "They underestimated us. They think we fight as individuals, but we fight as one. Humanity is strongest when we act together, and now we are unstoppable." Hours passed, and the warlord's forces began to falter. His fleet was fragmented, his ground forces trapped in energy zones, and his soldiers were demoralized by the coordinated resistance. Humanity's unpredictability and creativity, combined with Kalari intelligence and adaptability, had turned the tide. Finally, the warlord's flagship attempted a final assault, hoping to break through. Elena and Ilian coordinated a last trap. Energy fields guided the ship into a canyon, where decoy ships and amplified energy beams immobilized it completely. The warlord's fleet had no choice but to retreat. The skies cleared and silence fell over Novara. Humans and Kalari cheered. Children ran through the streets laughing. Adults hugged each other, tears of relief in their eyes. They had won, not through sheer power, but through unity, courage, and creativity. In the aftermath, humans and Kalari worked together to repair damage and care for the wounded. Elena walked through the colony, observing the bonds that had formed. Humans had taught Kalari courage, strategy, and resilience. Kalari had taught humans intelligence, adaptability, and patience. Together, they had created something stronger than either could have achieved alone. Ilian approached Elena holding a small device, a combined human-Kalari energy amplifier.
"For our home."
"Together," he said, glowing eyes bright with pride. Elena took it carefully. "This is more than technology," she said. "It's proof that we are stronger together. And this is what will shape the future, not just for Novara, but for the galaxy." As night fell, humans and Kalari gathered on the central plaza, celebrating victory and unity. Music, laughter, and lights filled the air. Children of both species played side by side, building towers and flying kites that glowed in the dual moon's light. Elena watched from a balcony, her heart full. The warlord would return eventually, she knew. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and dangers, but humanity had shown its greatest strength. Not weapons, not technology, but the ability to choose compassion, courage, and collaboration. The morning sun bathed the Novara colony in warm light, reflecting off the human and Kalari structures alike. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of alien forests and human crops alike. The battle was over, at least for now, and life thrived in the aftermath. Captain Elena Rios stood on a balcony overlooking the plaza where humans and Kalari celebrated together. Children ran freely, laughing and playing, while adults exchanged stories of courage and teamwork. It was a sight Elena would never forget. Humanity had kept its promise. The Kalari were safe, and together, they had built something stronger than fear or war. Lieutenant Moreno approached, his expression serious but calm. "Captain, scouts report no signs of the warlord's fleet in nearby systems. It seems he has retreated for now. He won't forget, but he will think twice before returning." Elena nodded. "Good, but we can't rely on him being gone forever. We need to strengthen our alliances, prepare defenses, and keep this unity alive. What we've done here, this cooperation, must become more than survival. It must become a model for the galaxy." In the days that followed, the humans and Kalari worked tirelessly to expand the colony. Shared projects flourished. energy systems powered by combined human Kalari technology, environmental controls that preserved Novara's natural beauty, and cultural centers that celebrated both species. The Kalari taught humans how to manipulate energy in new ways, creating self-sustaining power grids. Humans taught Kalari leadership strategies, community organization, and diplomacy. Together they planned not only for defense but for prosperity. Ilian, now a respected leader among the Kalari, approached Elena with a bright device in his hands. "Captain Elena, we want to offer gift for humans, for helping us survive." Elena studied the device. It was a compact energy amplifier, capable of powering entire colonies. She smiled. "Ilian, this is incredible, but we didn't help you to receive gifts. We helped because it was the right thing to do. Let's use it to make life better for everyone, humans and Kalari alike." Ilian nodded, understanding. The Kalari had learned that humanity's strength was not in power, but in generosity and choice. News of the humans' defense of the Kalari spread across the galaxy. The Galactic Council, which had once turned away the refugees, now summoned human representatives to share their experience. Humans had shown that courage, creativity, and moral choice could outmatch brute force. Elena and a delegation of Kalari traveled to the Council's chambers. Ambassadors from countless species watched as she spoke. "We did not act for recognition," she said. "We acted because it was right. The Kalari had nowhere else to go. They trusted us and we honored that trust. Humanity is strongest not when we dominate, but when we defend, when we adapt, and when we choose empathy over fear." The council listened in silence. Many had underestimated humanity for centuries, dismissing them as young, impulsive, and weak. But now those judgments crumbled. Humanity had earned a reputation not just as survivors, but as leaders in morality, ingenuity, and courage. Rylus, the Kalari engineer, added, "We were denied by the galaxy, but humans took us in. Together we faced the warlord. Together we protected life. Humanity is hope." Back on Novara, the colony continued to thrive. Children of both species learned from one another, blending traditions, languages, and games. Humans learned Kalari philosophy and art, while Kalari learned human storytelling and music. Every day was a step toward mutual understanding, mutual respect, and shared progress. Elena watched a group of children flying small, glowing drones over the colony plaza. They laughed and shouted, calling out in a mix of languages, their joy echoing through the city. Humanity had shown that even in a dangerous galaxy, cooperation and compassion could create a future worth protecting. One evening, as the sun set over Novara's horizon, Elena walked with Ilian and a group of Kalari leaders. "We've built something amazing here," Elena said softly. "But the galaxy is still dangerous. There will always be threats. What matters is that we face them together, and that we never forget the lessons we've learned." Ilian nodded. "Humans teach. Courage, kindness. We learn. Trust, unity, together, strong," Elena smiled. "Exactly. Together we can face anything." Months passed and humanity's actions continued to inspire distant systems. Refugees from other conflicts began seeking out human space, drawn by stories of the Kalari sanctuary and the humans who had refused to turn away. Humanity had not only saved a species, they had become a symbol of hope, of what a species could be when morality and ingenuity were combined. Dr. Cross observed the energy grids powering the colony, now enhanced by Kalari technology. "I've seen many things in my life," she said to Elena, "but this is remarkable. We've built more than survival. We've built a model for the galaxy, proof that cooperation and compassion can change everything." Elena nodded. "That's what we always hoped. The galaxy will judge us by our choices, and we chose wisely." One day, a Kalari delegation prepared to visit Earth, bringing gifts of knowledge, art, and technology. It was a gesture of gratitude, but also a promise. The bond between humans and Kalari had grown stronger than fear, stronger than war, and stronger than any political obstacle. As Elena watched their shuttle launch, she reflected on humanity's journey. Across centuries, humans had faced countless dangers. They had survived by being adaptable, by learning from every challenge, and by choosing courage and empathy over fear and selfishness. The Kalari had been denied by the galaxy, but humanity had taken them in. That act of compassion had rippled outward, changing not only one species but the perception of an entire civilization. Ilian's voice came in her mind, soft but firm. Together. Strong, always, humans. Elena smiled, knowing the truth in his words. Humanity's greatest strength was not in weapons, not in technology, but in the choices they made. The choice to protect life, to act with courage, and to inspire hope. The stars above Novara twinkled like distant promises. Humanity had carved a place in the galaxy, not through conquest but through courage, intelligence, and heart. And the future was brighter because of it. Elena looked over the colony one last time before returning to her quarters. The laughter of children, the hum of energy grids, and the voices of Kalarian humans working together filled the air. The galaxy had tried to deny compassion, unity, and hope, but humanity had proven that these were stronger than fear, stronger than war, and stronger than any obstacle. As night fell, the moons reflected light on the city below. Humans and Kalari walked side by side, sharing stories, laughter, and plans for tomorrow. And in that moment, Elena knew one thing for certain. Humanity's spirit would never be denied. For every refugee, for every challenge, for every life in the galaxy, humans would stand tall. They would fight when needed, build when possible, and protect what was right. Because that was what it meant to be human.